Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius. Today's the 7th. Oh, no, sorry, the 8th. The 8th of August, guys, 2023. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a view of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'll disappear from that little left corner. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, or you can always reach out to us, guys. So let's jump into the charts. The first one I'm going to pick up here is Nikkei 225. Okay, now then, looking at the picture here, the technical picture, we can see that we have rebounded a little bit, but we still remained below that 50-day EMA that I was talking about. So basically, I'm not going to spend too much time on Nikkei because, again, it's the same analysis is valid that we need to see, or at least I need to see a push back above the 50-day EMA in order to get a little bit more excited with some higher levels, or should I say some higher levels within the potential idea of a descending triangle pattern. So in other words, this move higher could still be classed as a temporary correction to the upside before another possible leg of selling. But again, we'll look at that later on. At this point, from the very short-term perspective, like I said, that's the game plan. Again, let's see if we can climb above that 50-day EMA. For the downside, the same idea is still valid. I need to see a drop below that 31,800 zone, somewhere around here, in order to get comfortable with slightly lower levels. So now then, the China 50 index. Okay, first of all, the technical picture. As I've mentioned before, I said to you that, look, we are still below this downside line, and we are still above this little hurdle right here, this 13,064.65 territory, which where the 200-day EMA is. So we continue to kind of remain above that hurdle, but below the downside line. So in other words, we're kind of forming something of a possible bearish, descending triangle pattern, which is a bearish indication. However, I've seen this happening in the opposite direction several times, so until we get that clear breakout through one of the sides here, we cannot really do anything. Because, look, at the same time, maybe it's actually a bullish pennant, like a bullish flag or bullish pennant here, because we have our kind of pole here and have quite a big flag or pennant forming here. So maybe, we could see a break to the upside. And either way, it goes in line with my idea where I said to you that a breakout first is required. While we remain inside here, I'm not really doing anything. I'm not touching it. So, by the way, guys, with the Chinese data today, we got some numbers. Now, look, what I've put there is like China exports and imports slide further, right? I mean, so in general, yes, that is not good. In general, still the trade balance is on the positive side, so it's still increased, but the imports, if we look at them separately, the imports and exports, those have declined, and well, they keep on declining actually. So this is just kind of indicating to us that the top producing country in the world is kind of not exporting that much, mainly due to the lack of demand across the world, because again, I think that everybody's not, something that people are not talking about. Everybody's talking about inflation, but actually the demand is falling just because of that inflation, and demand has been falling for a while now, just because people cannot afford. And well, again, we can see by these numbers as well in China. So as being the biggest exporter, biggest producer in the world. So yeah, we can say that the same story is affecting Chinese imports because people, well, there's not a lot of imports, but okay, they're still happening, but yeah, they're slowing down. Look, again, from that perspective, you can see that the index here, the China 50 index, is on a well, it's not feeling very well. Let's put it this way, not feeling very positive. However, it's still holding. It's still holding. It's not falling apart. So, although we might say that maybe that those numbers have been a little bit on the negative side, but still for now the numbers are still holding on, and the market is still holding on too. We will take a look at the US indices right now, but before we go further, we jump into ASX 200. We could just take a look at what's happening here, because you can see that yes, there was some positivity initially. Look, with Australia, with ASX 200, the positivity kicked in initially from the better business confidence numbers in Australia. So yeah, those improved, jumped from negative territory into positive territory. So in a way, that was a good result here, good sign. We had that pop initially, but then the Chinese numbers came out. So basically showing that, you know, it could show that the economy is slowing down a little bit. So that's why ASX 200 is also feeling the heat a little bit. However, I'm not writing it off yet because, again, we still have the US session to go through today. Because, look, yesterday the US improved a little bit. However, we'll see, you know, I'll jump right now into the US indices. We'll see if that can be sustained. So yeah, long story short, for now, ASX 200, look, from the technical perspective, I'm still keeping an eye on this downside line as the barrier for the upside, and I'm looking at this 7,215 territory, somewhere around here, in order to start considering lower levels. Oh, by the way, as always, good morning to everybody. Good morning, everyone in the chat room. There we go. Good morning, everyone. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful start of Tuesday. Now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So what's happening here? We pushed back up. So what I said to you yesterday, that if we remain below this lower side of the box, the lower side of the range here, then yes, I will consider another decline. Well, that did not happen, and I said to you that if we do pop back inside it, and maybe we clear that 35,350 territory, or maybe this 35,400 zone, then yes, I'll get a little bit more bullish, with at least in the near term, at least maybe within this this box, within this range. But again, let's not rush into anything. For now, I will aim higher, but you can see I'm drawing my arrow a little bit lower. Why? Because I've spotted something else here, which I'm curious if it's going to work or not. So something like this. There we go. So this tentative, short-term tentative downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 27th of July. So if we continue to trade above this 35,412 zone, then yes, my next target is the downside line right here. Oh, Daredevil Dave, good morning. Good morning to you too. Good morning to everybody else who's tuning in right now. So I hope you're all having a wonderful start of Tuesday. So jumping into the S&P 500. Look, in general, with the US numbers right now, I don't think that much is happening. So at the moment, we're all going to be waiting for the US CPI numbers that are coming out on Thursday. Let me just double check that. I think that's Thursday, yes. So Wednesday from the US, we do have the crude oil inventories. That's something, yep. Yes, of course. CPI numbers are on Thursday, so just keep an eye on those. Look, for now, we can see that there was some positivity yesterday. We saw a bit of a retracement here. Okay, that's absolutely fine. But still, that doesn't answer my question, which, direction to choose, because look, on one side, we are still balancing above this short-term upside support line drawn from the low, the 26th of June. On the other hand, we are struggling to push back above this hurdle, so this 4,557. So I need to see a move back above it in order to get a little bit more excited with the upside. I'm going to take this conservative approach, to be honest. I'm not really going to do anything else. I'm just going to watch this. Then, yes, for the downside, I need to see a break of this shorter-term tentative upside support line drawn from the low of the 26th of June. And if that gets cleared, then, of course, yes, we could also fall below my 4,500 target here. And then I will aim for the 50-day EMA, shown here as the red line. I know it's a very small kind of distance here, but nevertheless, I want to be safe than sorry. Initially, I'll aim for that one. If it clears it, then yes, I will aim for this other upside support line taken from the low the 13th of March. So yeah, good potential line, but again, we'll see if it will respect it or not. But before even we can go anywhere here, I need to see a confirmation break. NASDAQ 100. So this one is a little bit on the bearish side. So yes, this one is flirting here with this upside line. Look, I talked about this yesterday, and I said to you that I need to see a nice, good, strong move below this upside line, and then yes, potentially more sellers could join in. For now, I am just keeping an eye on this. If we do clear that and stay below this upside line, below that 15,431 territory here as well, then yes, I will aim initially for the 50-day EMA, and if that, because it did act as a good area of support back here in April, at the end of April. Look, we have not tested that line for quite a while now, so might as well, but again, the question, will it break or not? If it breaks and we stay below the 50-day EMA, guess what? It could open the door towards that 100-day EMA. The German index, DAX. So we are seeing a reversal, a sharp reversal to the downside right now. Now, a good question, will we break this upside line, which is also at the same time the lower side of the rising wedge pattern? I can see that there are some German CPI numbers that came out. So for month and year, well, those came out as expected, to be honest. Nothing surprising, just as expected. But maybe somebody is interpreting it that this is not good because it's not falling, and especially the year-on-year number. So that means that maybe the ECB will continue intervening, and by intervening I mean raising interest rates. So that's a good question, of course. Will that happen? We'll just have to wait and see. But at this point, look, we're keeping an eye on the lower side of the rising wedge, and if that gets cleared, then yes, this could potentially open the door towards some lower levels. But I'll get more comfortable with that idea probably if we do drop below the 100-day EMA, shown here as the green line. The US dollar index. So this one's a little bit of a pain in the bottom, to be honest, because again, it did reverse back up here, but it's breaking this downside line, and I think I can say that yes, it's at the moment it's no longer working, this downside line. So Florence Okeva, good morning to you too. I can see you there in the chat room. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody who's doing that right now. Really appreciate your time. So coming back to the US dollar index, so yes, I can get rid of that downside line, no longer needed, and I think that the 100-day EMA will be a better indicator in order to start aiming for the upside. Look, if we do push above it, my next target is the 200-day EMA. In terms of the downside, I would say this, that if we do break this upside line and we do fall below the 101.59 territory, somewhere around here, that's from where I'll start looking at the downside. Not from the break of this upside line, no, but from this hurdle. Because, look, if it, for example, drifts right now lower, breaks the upside line, but, stalls above this barrier here, the highlighted one, maybe it will form something of a descending triangle pattern. So maybe, we could form this like line here, draw this way, and then, yeah, we have ourselves a nice descending triangle, which according to all the TA rules tends to break to the downside. So in other words, more downside could come. So, but still, the confirmation could come on a break of this hurdle right here. Jumping into gold very quickly, guys. So there we go. There we go. I talked about this yesterday, and I said that as long as we stay below that 1945-46 territory, I'm leaning towards the downside. And look at this. We have drifted lower a little bit, not much, but not by much, but by a little bit, yes. And okay, look, that's all fine. That's all okay. If you want to go further south, then yes, I would say I'm sticking to that. Unless we start climbing back above the 1946 zone. If we climb back above it, then yes, of course, we could see a move to the upside towards this downside line, which we could class as a temporary correction before another possible leg of buying. But again, let's not rush into that, because maybe, this area could be an important one to watch, but I'll get to that later on. But yeah, for now, we are okay. Look, if this is not, let's say, something that's very attractive to you, I totally understand you. Because again, if you missed this move to lower and you're thinking now, but hey, maybe I'm going to be chasing it. Okay, look, I mean, that's fine. You might not just enter, like, you might wait for something maybe better. From the very short-term perspective, look, if we do fall below the yesterday's low near the 1931 zone, then yes, I will get maybe a little bit more comfortable with lower levels, but then we have the current lowest point of August, which is around here near the 1926 zone, and then so on and so on. So for now, long story short, I will lean towards the downside. I'll get more comfortable with the downside if we do fall below that 1931 zone, and then slowly, gradually, I'll aim for lower levels. Silver. So silver, mission accomplished. I talked about this idea here. I mean, I was telling you to keep an eye on this upside line, and yes, we fell below the 200-day EMA, and look at this beautiful upside line, which is drawn from the low the 9th of March, held nicely and provided very nice support. So the question now is, can we see a further decline? Well, look, at this point, I'm kind of, I would say, considering maybe this idea, but as much as I would like to, be very, very bearish, I need to see a confirmation break. That's my game plan here. And another thing, look, we have ourselves a sharp candle here to the downside. Maybe we'll have a bit of a retracement here alongside this this upside line, and then form something of a bearish flag, and then maybe fall off the cliff. Maybe going on Thursday, kind of. Don't be surprised, for example, if this, let's say, does correct back up here today, tomorrow, and on Thursday, maybe it's just going to fall off the cliff here, So, but again, that's just a theory. Don't get me wrong. I don't have a crystal ball, so I cannot see the future. So unfortunately, we'll just have to try to make sense of everything what we have right now in order to maybe, try to see if we can simplify our life in the future a little bit. So for the upside, I'll take a very conservative approach, and I'll wait for a break of this downside line and a push of the 23.80 zone somewhere around here in order to go for some higher levels. Oil. So oil is, yes, it's an interesting one here. We're struggling with this barrier right now, the 83.54. I kept on talking about this, so I said to you that for now, at this point, given that I already kind of got my move here to the upside, okay, great. I will wait until I get another pop here above this barrier, because exactly for these reasons, because as you can see here, we are retracing back to the downside. Now, I'm not getting very bearish yet, because I said to you yesterday that I'm going to get a little bit more bearish if we do break this upside line. So for now, we're not there yet, so just observing the price action. Jumping into a few commodities, other commodities like cocoa. Yesterday, in JD Invest 1 mentioned this one, and I've picked up on this one. So I said to you that, guys, You see, the technicals sometimes don't work because why? Because there are fundamentals in there. Look, yesterday as we spoke, I mean, and then reports started coming in that rains kind of help strengthen Ivory Coast cocoa, crops. So basically, initially there was some drought, and now they're saying, okay, now there's more rain expected. So this is kind of working as a positive for the supply of cocoa. So that means that there could be more crops. Everything's okay. So and you can see the price is dropping, which is logical. And what I talked about yesterday, I said that to you that from the technical perspective, if we do break the upper side of the falling channel here and we stay above it, then yes, I'll go higher. We broke it, but we failed to stay above it. And look at this, it shifted. Once the news came out, it shifted quickly to the downside, and there we go. We fell below this lower side of this falling channel. But what I also said to you that I need to see a drop below the 3,439 territory here, and look where it found support just perfectly here. So if we do drop below this hurdle, then yes, I will go lower towards this upside support line drawn from the low of the 15th of March. So basically, in other words, there could still be some more downside in near term because of this. However, reports are also saying that if the rains, for example, will not stop when they need to stop, then they might actually damage the harvest. So, and that harvest is mainly between October and January, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. So if that's gonna, sorry, no, let me just double check. I think it was, yeah, it's between September and increase in October before ending in January. So between roughly, let's say between October and September, that's the harvest. So yes, but if it's not going to stop, it might damage it. So if the rain is not going to stop. So look, this is how it works in real life, right? And everything in moderation, and works in nature as well. I mean, well, actually it works in nature, and then we are kind of copying it from nature, but everything in moderation. Even you need some heat, you need some rain. So at this point, I think that there could be some more downside maybe in the upcoming days, and then we'll have to just see. You'll just have to follow. If you are trading something like this, you need to kind of be in the game, follow the developments in the countries where for example, this commodity is produced. And for example, one in particular is Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast. So, yeah. Keep an eye on the news there if you are trading something like that. Corn, very quickly on this one. So yeah, this one's also kind of declining because in the US they're expecting kind of favorable weather, and there we go. We are now near this key support zone of 474 zone, approximately around here. I said it before and I'll say it again. If we do clear that, then yes, I'll go lower. Let me just put an arrow here for our future reference. This is what I'm going to do here. So if we do break that hurdle, then yes, my next target is the high of the 30th of November of 2020. And then we'll go from there, guys. Because look, we are kind of drifting. We already drifted quite a lot to the downside. And now, I mean, I think that, yes, the supply is kind of stabilizing, and we're seeing further declines, and I think that there could be some more declines to come. But look, all depending on how this hurdle here will hold, because I don't want to exclude the possibility of a double bottom as well. So yeah, but at the moment I'm kind of a little bit cautiously bearish. Now Bitcoin. So let's jump into this Bitcoin. So the crypto world is, so yes, with the Ripple, still all the things are still ongoing. Ripple SEC case, yes, still ongoing. There's still, SEC is not backing off, still saying that it's a security overall. Then but then Ripple is coming back saying, but hey, then everybody who's trading Ripple should also fall under the same regulation, because you're kind of also considered, you're buying security, selling security, a security. So it wouldn't, there are certain things that could apply on the traders. And but then the SEC saying, but oh no, there's this clause where it's exempting those traders from, kind of being classed as security traders. So honestly, that's, I think, going to go further a little bit. But Bitcoin did rise a little bit, not like Bitcoin Cash, which I'll get in a bit. But Bitcoin itself, yes, I mean, it rose a little bit. It still remains below the this 50-day EMA and below that 29,500 zone. So yeah, look, I'll stick to the game plan. As long as we stay below that 29,500 zone, I'll aim lower. But if we do start popping above that 29,500 zone, I'll go a little bit higher. I'll take a very, very simplistic approach on Bitcoin. And yes, the positivity is coming from PayPal. As you know, or as you don't know, PayPal released its stable coin, PYUSD. So it's going to be PayPal's coin, PayPal's kind of crypto coin, which is a stable coin because it's going to be backed by a US dollar. Okay, so look, yeah, I think that it's kind of trying to revive PayPal itself, because in general, PayPal stock, for example, is not doing well, and I think that the business has a lot of competition, and good competition. So they're trying to kind of, be also kind of go hand in hand with everybody, and trying to go like not to fall back, right? And also one of the businesses that PayPal works with, like for example eBay, yeah, that popularity is falling as well. So eBay's popularity is falling, and I don't know how it will work, but and that's why kind of PayPal is losing business too. Now, however, PayPal is still doable. I think that's still manageable, and it can really turn around. But at this point, I think that yes, it gave the crypto market a little boost. The news from PayPal is kind of showing that a respected financial institution is kind of respecting the crypto world, right, and believing in the crypto world, and that's why that is like this little positivity kicked in right now from in the crypto world. So, but will that fade away? We'll see, because again, it's a tricky moment. Will that, again, a lot depends on other things, and how Coinbase is doing, and how Ripple is doing, and and the whole how SEC is doing with them. So, so yeah, that's what I think it will eventually depend on most. So yeah, Bitcoin Cash. There we go. A little pop here. Nice pop, but still, I said it before and I'll say it again. In order for me to go lower, I need to see another drop, a good drop below the 50-day EMA in order to go towards the 100-day EMA. For the for the upside, a push above the 250 territory, somewhere around here, this highlighted zone, would be required. Litecoin. This one's holding nicely, actually. This 81.76 territory, somehow doing a good job. And as long as we stay, let's say, or above it, above this hurdle, maybe we could see a bit of a retracement back towards the 200-day EMA. However, I'm not rushing into anything like that yet, because maybe we have ourselves a bearish flag or something like, but it's not a very attractive bearish flag, honestly. So yeah, that's why it's difficult to say that. But look, we can simplify our life and say, just if we do fall below and stay below the 81.76 territory, we can go a little bit lower. AUDUSD. So, AUDUSD. The picture here is everything's in line with the expectation, because I said to you before that as long as we stay below this highlighted zone right here, then yes, another decline here could be possible. And so far, we're getting that. We're getting that move towards the downside. My next target is the 0.65 territory, around it. Not exactly the level, but the the area around that level. Because I said to you before that it's never the exact level, so sometimes it is, but not always. So we just rather take our profits, enjoy life, and just kind of take what we can get. So yeah, that's my next target. Let's see if we can reach that. I will start shifting to the upside if we do push back above the 0.66 zone. AUDJPY, AUDJPY. The technical picture shows that we are still struggling with this 93.77 territory, which I talked about yesterday as well. We are struggling to push back above it. Well, we tried climbing today, actually, but as you can see, it failed. Look, the day has just started in Europe and will start in the US. So maybe, we'll see some positivity in the stock market. And if that's the case, then we could see a nice push back above this hurdle. And because at the moment we're getting a hold up above the 100-day EMA. So that could be seen as a little positive moment here. But I will still keep an eye on this 93.77 territory in order to go a little bit to the upside. For the downside, yes, straightforward. Drop below the 93 territory somewhere here is needed. And I would need to see the body of the daily candle staying below it in order to go lower. CHFJPY, there we go. We're very, very close. I talked about this. If you remember, I kept on picking up on this one for a few times already. And yes, this is looking very, very interesting. And that's why I'm saying that don't write off AUDJPY bulls yet, because maybe, judging from other yen pairs, and I'll get to USDJPY in a bit here as well, then there is potential for some upside. But again, you can see that we've broke this barrier. We've broken this barrier, but we are still struggling to stay above it. So just let's see if the bulls have enough steam to drive this one further north. But at this point, I'm cautiously bullish. Let's wait and see. Blessed pips, EURGBP. I have it in the bottom there. You can see this is the whole list that I'm going through. So I have the list here. So yes, it's in the bottom, and I'll pick up on that one. Don't worry, it's in there. So USDJPY. So yeah, this one rebounded nicely. I talked about this little hurdle here. I said to you that if we do fall below the 141.55 territory, then yes, I will consider a move lower. For the upside, I need to see a push, a break of this downside line, and then kind of go higher towards maybe the 145 zone or maybe a little bit above that. But look, 143.90 zone, something that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. Blessed pips, no worries. Look, that's all fine. But yeah, and just for the future, like I said, also you can see the instruments that I'm going to go through in the description of the video before the video starts. So just if you're interested in some of those, but look, USDJPY, USDJPY. So if we do break the downside line, great, wonderful, we could go higher. But look, for now, I would say let's not rush into anything. Although it's all looking very, very attractive, very nice, very positive, but still don't forget that on this pair, we are coiling up right now. So we are in this kind of triangle pattern. So it could still drift back down easily. If this holds somehow, yes, another decline could be possible. However, my downside scenario is only from around here, from around this 141.55 territory. And then we will go from there. USDCAD. So there we go. We're popping as we speak. I talked about this idea here in my previous videos, recent videos. So yep, there we go. I talked about this idea where I said that if we do pop and stay above the 1.3387 territory, my next target is the 1.3462 area, somewhere around here, and then we'll go from there. As long as we stay, because look, if we somehow drift back down and fall back below the 200-day EMA, well, maybe a bit of a retracement here back down could be possible towards the 100-day EMA initially, and then we'll take it from there. GBPCAD. This one's looking quite promising as well. So far, so good. Look, I talked about this previously. I said to you that Last week, actually, I picked up on GBPCAD and I said that we were in a coiling up moment. We were in a triangle. We broke out of it, and then I said that I will get more comfortable if we do push above the 1.7019 zone. There we go. We pushed above it, and I said my target is going to be the 1.7110. Beautiful. What's next? Next is this. If we somehow manage to remain above the 1.7110 zone, then yes, I'm leaning towards the upside. Let me just remove some of these lines. This one can go. Maybe this one can stay a little bit for now. Yes, and maybe it could help us out later on. And look, everything's kind of looking a little bit more positive than negative on this one, on GBPCAD. But I need to see that push above the 1.7110 territory first. We're already seeing that, but I need to see the body of the daily candle staying above it, because again, I don't want to see a false breakout. No. GBPNZD popped. Boom. Fantastic. Look, I said it before, and I kept on dragging this pair with me for 2 weeks or something. Like, honestly, like for like almost 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, or actually maybe no, it was 2 weeks already. So there we go. We got our pop. We got our nice move here to the upside. There we go. So my next target is something I would like to aim for, something a little bit more kind of round, maybe like, well, not round, but like 2.11, 2.12, something like that, something among those numbers. However, I think that it could even go further north. I think that maybe 2.13 could be a nice good target as well, just judging for how long we have stayed in this range. So yeah, Euro Aussie. Oh, by the way, with GBPNZD, look, I'll scrap the whole upside idea if we somehow, by any chance today, let's say we fall back below, or today or tomorrow we fall back below this 2.0920 territory. I've seen this happening before. GBPNZD is a crazy pair to trade, and you need a lot of, a lot of nerves and a lot of patience with this one, because that one, it can be very good. However, at the same time, it can be very hurtful. So been there, done that. So yes, just giving you telling you from experience, because at the moment, yes, we are kind of leaning towards the upside, but just to be a bit more on the careful side, yes, I don't want to rush into anything here. And let me just remind myself where are these GDP numbers. Oh, by the way, we have today we have the Canadian trade balance, exports, imports as well. So keep your eyes on that one. Where is that British number? Where are these British numbers? Friday. There we go. Friday GDP numbers. GDP numbers for GBP. So yeah, look, at this point, it seems everything looking quite positive, right? But again, I need to warn you that this pair is crazy one. So once we break a barrier, sometimes it looks very, very positive, but it could very easily come back down. So if you see something like sharp reversals, just kind of keep this idea in mind that it could drop back below this area, and then we'll have ourselves a nice false breakout. So jumping into Euro Aussie very quickly. So yes, this one also popped nicely. Let me just let my lines load up a little bit, because I think that those are lagging. In the meantime, yes, yeah, there we go. So we popped above my target, the 1.6787. I said to you before that this is going to be my aim initially. We reached that, and then I said to you that, excuse me, I said to you that if we do climb and stay above this area, then yes, further upside could be possible. So far, we've climbed above it, but look, again, same story. What if we start reversing back down again and we stay below the highlighted zone? Then maybe, yes, we could consider a bit of a retracement here. So that's why I'm going to bring my arrow this way. and then yes, we'll consider this idea if we do fall back below this highlighted zone, the upper one, and we stay below it, and then yes, we'll have ourselves a false breakout, and then basically maybe a bit of a retracement back down could be possible. However, I'm kind of leaning, I'm actually leaning a little bit more towards the upside, to be honest, but hey, the market doesn't always do what I want it to do, so let's remain on the careful side. If you're thinking that this is a head and shoulders pattern, no, it's not. It's something very close to that, but it's very interesting at the same time, but it's not a inverted head and shoulders pattern, so just be careful with that. And that's why I'm saying just, you know, don't rush for now. Just keep an eye on it. If you've missed the pop, okay, that's fine. Don't worry. Like I said, you might not miss the other move, so just keep an eye on it. EURJPY, this one is looking quite positive. Yes, and coming back. So if Euro, I mean, look, here I am not very, let's say, not that bullish on the euro as I am bearish on the yen, because if the stock market somehow, especially in the US, for example, starts pushing to the upside, as I already discussed this morning, somehow it recovers, let's say, and pushes, you know, a little bit higher, then yes, EUROJPY could nicely break through this barrier, because again, everybody would be jumping out of the yen, and everybody would be pushing higher. But still, either way, guys, I said to you before that, first of all, as long as we stay above this 155.59 territory, I'm aiming to the upside towards this 158 zone. Almost tick, I would say, but for further upside, yes, a pop above the 158 territory is required, because a forthcoming high will be confirmed, and then, yeah, potentially more buyers could join in. So at this point, I'm just observing the price action. I'm cautiously bullish, and I need that pop. If I don't get that pop, I'm not really going higher, because we could end up drifting back down. So that's what I don't want to see. But to be honest, I will, as I said before, I'll consider my downside scenario only from around here, somewhere this 155.15 territory, because at the same time, we would fall below the 50-day EMA. And finally, EURUSD. So this one is trying to move higher. There we go. Slowly trying to do something here. Okay, the bulls are, you know, I think they're being very cheeky, quietly trying to just lift this pair higher. But look, I'm still going to stick to my game plan, the same as with the EUROJPY. On the EURUSD here, the 1.104750 zone, actually, we can round it up. That's what I'm going to keep an eye on in order to go higher. While we remain here, yes, cautiously bullish I am, but I need this move here. I need that pop, and then I'll get more comfortable. This whole area right here, yes, with the fact that we broke the downside line and we're above the 50-day EMA, certainly these are kind of giving me that, you know, a nice bullish perspective, at least in the near term. But yes, if I want to go a little bit more to the upside, then yes, I need to see that pop above the 1.1050 zone, approximately around there. So guys, that's it for this session. This was a very quick one. I tried to keep it short and simple, not to over kind of stretch it, because again, some of the instruments I already picked up on and talked about. It was just a quick reminder, but some instruments, yes, I wanted to talk more a little bit. So yeah. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I'll wrap it up here. So yeah, enjoy your trading day today. Have your stop losses in place. Risk only what you can afford to lose, and everything will be fine. And yep, of course, don't forget not to overtrade, as always. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, as always, 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, guys, thank you very much, and bye-bye. Hey there, thank you very much for watching this one till the end. I really appreciate that. So like this video, we speculate your next mouse movement will be towards the subscribe button.